tell you a story. In March of 2016, I got a phone call from a former teacher, friend, and mentor, Lenore Hope. I was on the train on the way to New York City with Lily. She was 5 at the time, and we were going to see her first Broadway show, which was, of course, Phantom of the Opera. So I had no idea that this phone call would change my life. Lenore asked me to consider running for school board in Bensalem. So I said, okay, I'll think about it. And I did. And about 2 days later, I called Lenore back and I said, all right, let's do it, I'm in. A couple months later, our Republican-controlled school board threatened to cut about 30 positions from our school district. And they took the music and arts program in the elementary schools and they threatened to cut them in half. And at that moment, I knew that running for school board was exactly where I needed to be. So I, along with my community, we galvanized, we got together, and we fought against those cuts, and we won. Woo! That fall, I was elected to school board, and I was the top vote getter over a 12-year incumbent. And every decision I have made on school board, every vote that I have cast, every statement I have made, has been with one end in mind. Is this good for our children and their future? Now, being on school board has opened my eyes to some of the real problems we're having here in Pennsylvania. We do not get enough funding. I'm sorry, I keep hitting you in the face. We do not get enough funding from Harrisburg. We are ranked 46th in the nation in public school funding from our state legislature, and that is totally and utterly unacceptable. Yes. So when I see a problem, I ask myself, what can I do about this? Is this something that I can take on? And that is what brings me here today. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming. My name is Rachel Fingles, and I am running for state representative of the 18th district, my hometown, Bensalem. Now, I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of, well, who are you to run? And shouldn't you be waiting your turn? Well, to answer you, I am not a traditional candidate. I am the single mother of 2 young girls. A few years ago, I moved back home to live with my parents so that I can make ends meet. Because you know what? Kids are expensive. I have, let's see, what do you do? Dance, theater, piano lessons, Hebrew school. You gotta keep them fed and clean. That's the whole thing. And in addition to that, I work, they go to school, and I'm on school board. So moving home was the right choice for me. And people look at me and they say, who are you to be running for this kind of thing? What about your family? And I look at these people and I say to them, I'm doing this for my family. So, let me tell you a little bit about me. I am the graduate of Bensalem High School. I grew up playing sports at Valley Athletic Association. I danced at Bucks County Dance Center. I did the community theater program every year in Bensalem for as long as I could, I think about 7 years. After college, or after high school, I went to college at Penn State. I'm a second-generation Nittany Lion. I majored in public relations and political science, and I went on to Drexel Law School, where I focused on trial advocacy. And right before I took the bar exam, a small someone came into my life. In fact, the night before I was supposed to take it, I went into labor. So this one gets the award for most impeccable time. But, you know, my story is really not that different from many of the stories that you have here today. You ask yourself the questions that I ask myself. Is this the month I'm not going to be able to make my bills? How am I going to pay for my student loans? And what's going to happen when I get that medical bill? How's that going to get paid? And also, are the programs in our schools going to be able to give our kids what they need for a good, secure future? And other questions like, when I send my kid to school, are they going to come back safely? And so these questions are sort of the things that are going on in my mind every day when I think about what can I do to help my family and my community. So right after Lily was born, I went out to start to work, and it was really hard to kind of maintain that work-life balance that people need. They want to work, they want to make money, they want to, you know, have the health benefits, and they want to come home to their kids. So a few years after I started working, Julia came into my life. She's around here somewhere. And about 3 months after she did, my husband and I separated and divorced. And then the idea of work-life balance became essential to me, because what I had to do was figure out, how am I going to get these kids to daycare when it opens, to work, and then back home before daycare closes, while at the same time being able to actually make enough money to support 2 daycare bills on top of all the other bills that I have, and then actually have health insurance. And it wasn't easy, but that's when I moved back home because I knew that I needed help. So I moved back home with my parents and I found a job in family law, and that was a great experience for me. I got to work with people and represent women and children who were victims of abuse, who were looking to find their voice in this new part of their lives. And being able to help them find that voice and that strength was a privilege that I will never forget. And so I liked the idea of helping people, so I went on to work for the state government. I worked for a state senator, I worked for a state representative, and I saw the way the legislature is run. I saw the way laws help people, and I saw the way that laws hurt people. I saw what worked for people and what didn't, and I saw a lot of victories and a lot of failures. But really what I saw is that in our legislature here in Harrisburg, we are missing some vital voices. A lot of the people up there represent the same kind of people, they look like the same kind of people, and we need some diversity in our legislature because we cannot fully represent everybody until everybody is there. And so, what we really need are fighters. And I am a fighter. You have to be a fighter when you're a single mother. You have to be a fighter when you are directing a witness on the stand to testify against their abuser and to help them find that strength that they need to move on with their lives. You have to be a fighter when you are on the school board and you are in the minority and the majority party looks at you and they say, sorry, we have 5 votes and your opinion really just doesn't matter even though it may be right or better than ours. This Commonwealth for the last 40 years and this town for the last 40 years has been represented by the same kind of person who looks the same, who thinks the same, and who's only thinking of a small population. And it is time for a change. We need somebody who understands the struggle that our community is going through. And so I'm so excited about this next chapter in Bensalem's story. And I can't wait to be able to represent the people who have been marginalized and overlooked and ignored for 40 years. So I am asking you today to support me in my quest for getting to Harrisburg. My name is Rachel Fingles, and I am the next state representative in Bensalem. And this is Lily.